Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Passive Income and Chill podcast. My name is Nana Alice Nyarko, and I'm so excited to have Miss Jacent Wamala on the podcast with us today. She is a money mindset coach. She is a boss when it comes to financial health. So I'm excited to have her share all of her knowledge with us here at the Passive Income and Chill podcast with our family. So, Jacent, please introduce yourself to our family and let us know what it is that you do.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about this conversation. As she mentioned, I'm Jacent. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist turned money mindset coach. So I'm in another season of my professional career. And so essentially, what happened was I personally went into a lot of debt between student loans and credit cards. And while I was in grad school, graduated, started my professional career, seeing clients who were mostly women and mostly women of color, they were all bringing money up as a major stressor for them that was contributing to their anxiety, stress, depression, trauma, all kinds of things. And that wasn't one of the things that we talked about in school, when it came to how to help people with their mental health. And so because I didn't have the answers and I didn't really see anyone talking about what I saw coming up in the therapy room, I started, just kind of diving deeper into it between my own personal journey with money and then also with my clients. And thankfully, I ended up able to pay off over $90,000 of student loan and credit card debt. Yes. 3 years before I turned 30 in the year 2020 was when I became debt free, which was right on time at a time where a lot of people were dealing with financial stress on a whole nother level. Like things were headed in a different direction for me. And I ended 2020 with almost $30,000 cash in the bank, from saving from, May to December because of the choices that I had made. And so money to me and that link between mental health and money really became apparent when it comes to wellness and when it comes to specifically women and being able to position ourselves to live life on our terms, right? Why do we want to have passive income? So that we can do what we want with our time and our energy. And so I'm so excited to have this conversation. And really, it's my life's mission to help women learn how to manage their money better and multiply it so that they have options and flexibility, to their heart's desire.
Well, you are definitely speaking to my heart, and I'm sure a lot of the people in our audience, because, I went to law school, so I'm all too familiar with those major student loan debts that are just kind of hanging around. And like it's a low level grade of anxiety, right? That you experience just knowing that this big mama jamma is out there and something needs to be done about it. So I think that for a lot of women that I know and have encountered, right? A lot of us live these beautiful lifestyles. We have decent income because we did go to school and we're bringing in decent income. But sometimes, like you said, there was no matter what type of school you went to, there was no education and nothing that was taught to you on, all right, you've got this income, you've got this major debt, and then you've got a lifestyle that you're trying to live. How do you make it all work and put it all together and prioritize what really matters while still getting out of debt?
So important. And I think you mentioned it, right? Like many times we'll be really heavily educated, whether it's master's degrees or whatever kind of degrees, certifications. Like I think women value education and understand how helpful it can be. But I think that it comes with almost as a double-edged sword, because then we rely on that as to why we can't ask for a raise now because we need to go get another certification or another degree, or why we can't, utilize whatever skills we have as we stand in this moment to be able to maximize our earning potential and then be really good about managing what we have, no matter what it is, so that we can invest to create passive income streams. And I hope some of the questions, that we talk about are in alignment with that, I assume, right? But yeah, so that we're managing in order to create the passive income stream. So we don't have to if you want to do everything that you're doing right now for the rest of your life, hallelujah. But if you don't want to, or if you can't for some reason, or things change in your life, that you don't have to because you're diversified.
Absolutely. So actually, you kind of led us to the next question. Tell us about some of what you do in your business and in your life for passive income. I always talk about active income as well as passive income. So I share with my audience, you have to get active in order to get passive, right? You don't get passive income just by sitting down and trying to think about it, right? You have to actually take some action. So I'd love for you to share with us, what are some of the active things that you've done, and then what are some of your favorite passive income streams?
I absolutely love this question because, and everything that you talk about and everything that you share, because that's like one of the number one things that people ask me about or talk to me about is one of their goals is to have passive income. And of course it is. It makes complete sense. But like you mentioned, at least to my knowledge, like all passive income starts off as active in some way. If you're investing in the stock market through your job, you had to work the hours to make the money that you are being able to put into the 401k or whatever the case is. When you create a course, when you create a podcast, write a book, start a blog, a YouTube, or whatever, Airbnb, like anything that you hope to be able to just collect a check on, right? Whatever that is going to
Mhm.
require some time, energy, and effort, plus probably some money up front so that it can become passive. And I think because there's not very fundamental information on passive income, like circulating that I've seen at least for women, that a lot of the times I think we have a misconception about income or what passive income looks like, that it's supposedly going to be like easy. Like if I just pay this person to do this thing, boop, it should just be fine. Like,
Right.
no, it's not just going to fall into your lap. So for me, I know that some of the passive income that I have multiple streams, and I'm not, let me say, the levels to which, right, getting a return on those income streams varies.
Mhm.
When it comes to passive income, like literally go to sleep and I wake up and there's money there. Affiliate marketing is one of them.
Okay.
So, being an affiliate for certain things that I find in alignment with my audience, or whether it's actually there's some things like being an affiliate for someone else's program.
Mhm.
So there's a program that I'm in that I am freaking rave about. And so if I think there's someone that would be in alignment for that program, I'm like, hey, I think that you should look into this and learn more about it to see if it could be helpful for you. And so if someone enrolls in that program, just 2 days ago, I got an email that I was getting a check sent to me because someone, enrolled for that program. So
Mhm.
that's one passive income stream for me. Another one would be my book. So now my book, I had to spend a lot of time, energy, and effort and money up front,
Yeah.
right? To write and edit and create and all that stuff. And so it took a lot up front. But
Okay.
now the book
So
is
I just want to say I'm going to circle back to the book because it's amazing that you've got this book coming out. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, yeah. So I wrote the book, but now, all of it is, it's sitting there. So someone just DM'd me and was like, hey, I want to buy your book. I sent the link, boom, it's done. Like the only work I had to do. And if I had a virtual assistant that was, doing my DMs, she could have done that for me or whatever. The link's also in my bio, so people can literally just grab it. So there's that. I used to have courses that were just available. And then I shut those down and really just streamlined and did one program. So when my
Mhm.
courses were up and available, people could purchase the standalone courses that I had, and I would wake up to money. You know what I mean? And so one of the things that, because I tell people all the time, I'm not, people are like, oh, money guru, money expert, like I'm great at what I do. And what I do is very narrow and niched. Okay,
Mhm.
y'all. I don't know everything. I'm
Right.
still working on checking off some of the boxes in my own life, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Right. Yeah.
So, for me, one of the boxes that I actually need to check in this season is actually I need to roll it over. So I have an investment account, but I need to roll it over so that I'm able to continue to invest. I'm going to personally do index funds. So that's another stream of income. And so there's just all these little things that, I'm able to leverage in order to have money constantly rolling in and coming my way, I guess. But yeah, there's actually quite a few. If I kept talking, it would be a while. There's like the
No.
podcast. So there's that. But those are some of like the major ones for sure.
That's fantastic. And I know for a lot of people, they think about affiliate marketing, and it's always nice to know people who are actually doing it and how simple it truly can be, right? I love that you said that you affiliate with things that you're in alignment with, right? Things that you actually believe in, because there are people out there who just affiliate for any old thing, but you just really want to be in alignment with it. And you know that if you've gotten results or you've really experienced, progress from something, you want to share that with your audience, and it's a great way to make money as well. And it's great that you mentioned the index funds because I just had Mark Russell on, and he's, a huge fan of that. So, yes, yes, yes. But before I get to your book, I did want to talk a little bit about money mindset, right? So, you're a money mindset coach. So, for a lot of people, I don't think they recognize how much mindset goes into their finances, right? You kind of sometimes think, oh, I just check these things off. I know what to do. Like, we all internally sometimes know head knowledge wise what to do, but there's could be like money blocks and things like that. So, I mean, how do you share that information with people?
Yeah, you're speaking my language. If if money were easy to be successful with, like many more of us would be like millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, or whatever, right? We all kind of know, like you said, what to do with money generally. Like we're supposed
Mhm,
to save some of it, we're supposed to invest some of it, we're supposed to not have too much debt. You know what I mean? Like in a vague way, we know what we're supposed to do with money. But
mhm.
why aren't we doing what we know we're supposed to do?
Right.
That if on a very basic level, if we're talking about money mindset, that's the question. You know what
Mhm.
you know what you're supposed to do with money, why aren't you doing it? You know you're supposed
Right.
to be saving money, why aren't you doing it? And then when we get to that answer, when we start answering those questions, it's going to tell us where those blocks are. I don't
Mhm,
make enough, or I struggle with impulse spending, or I don't know how to manage my money. So all of those things will let us know, it'll indicate something for us, a belief. Your money
mhm,
mindset is what you believe about money. It's how you interact and see money. And so usually we don't know about it like consciously because we adopted the beliefs subconsciously as children most of the
mhm,
time, right?
mhm,
So there's the woo woo side of money mindset, which is like write it down, manifest, visualize, feel it. You know what I mean? Like there's
mhm.
that side. I'm some woo woo, so I do those things. But
Yeah.
there's also the behavioral side, the psychological side, right? So coming from my therapy background, coming from a psychology degree, knowing that just like, how we learn how to interact in relationships, and what we
Mhm,
learn growing up affects our relationships as adults, what you heard
mhm,
about money, what you didn't hear about money, how you saw people talk about money growing up, all influences how you think about and see money as an adult. The issue is that we become adults and we never upgrade.
mhm.
So we have iPhones and Samsungs. If you have a Samsung, I don't know, it ain't me, but if you got one, I'm gonna make sure it's about inclusion, right? So
Right.
if you have whatever kind of phone you have, you probably don't have the first model of that phone. You
Mhm.
upgraded your phone somewhere along the line
Yeah.
because there were new features, because it was easier to use, because it was more in alignment with where you are today. And so what happens is we were given this money mindset, or we adopted this money mindset early in our lives, but we've never sat to upgrade it and say, well, is this still in alignment for me now? Are my beliefs around money and my money story and the things that I say to myself and use to make decisions with when it comes to
Mhm.
money, do they make sense for me in this season of my life? Now, the kicker is that every season of your life is going to force you to have to upgrade. So when
Right.
I got out of debt, I needed to have one type of money mindset to help me get out of debt. But what got
Mhm,
me out of debt, that mindset is not going to help me become a millionaire. I have to
mhm.
upgrade and shift because now there are different things that this season of my life requires from me, and I have to re-identify myself with money in a new way. And so it's also not something that you can just do once. It's a constant process, like
I
working out.
love Yeah, I love that. And I love that analogy of like you upgrade your phone because different things happen, right? Technology changes, things changes, seasons change, you might finally switch from a Samsung to an Apple for some reason, right?
Or the other
Um,
way around.
or
Why?
the
I don't know.
other way around. I know people who've done that. So, yeah, I think that's so crucial. So, what about people who are struggling maybe with multiple so they feel like they're in different seasons, right? When you
Mm.
talk about the mindset for paying off debt, but then they also want to invest, like, is there a different mindset, like you mentioned, for each one of those? And can those live together?
You know what? I think that it's entirely possible for them to live together 100%. There are people who pay off debt and invest at the same time. So it's possible. The key for someone to understand whether it's possible for themselves is self-awareness.
Mm. Yeah.
So the more self-aware you are, and the more you know how you work and how to create a structure and an environment and a system and accountability for you to succeed, the easier it'll be. But you have a different personality and way of learning and handling things than I do. So I can't
Mhm.
just adopt your plan without any customization. That's one of the
Mm.
biggest issues that I see is like people are like, this plan didn't work for me. Well, was it customized though? You know what I mean? Like, did you tweak things to make sure that it fit for you, or did you just try to do somebody else's plan and it didn't work because it was someone else's plan, you know?
Right, right.
So for me, because people are like, well, you should have been investing the whole time that you were paying off debt. Baby, I wasn't I wasn't doing anything with money. Like
Mm.
there was no progress in my money journey. So
Mm.
that's how I had to start for me to make progress to now be in a season where, okay, now I have cash flow to be able to invest. And now I'm 32. And for the rest of my life, if I, depending on how I manage things, all I get to do is invest. I can invest however much that I was going to do the last 3 years, double, triple, quadruple that. But I would not have started because I personally would have been overwhelmed trying to do all of the things at once. That's my journey. That's what I had
Mhm.
to do to make progress. But if you're like, you know what, I think I can make it happen, create an automated system. You have a job, make sure that you're investing there, match it, all that fun stuff, hit the max, blah, 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 and then set aside a certain amount for your debt payoff and make it happen. But the key to making progress, if you want to be able to do multiple things at once, is self-awareness. And
Mm.
I'm
I love
I'm a
that.
therapist, so it comes from psychology.
Yeah.
How have you been able to manage doing other multiple things at the same time? Set
Mm.
that set that into motion in your money journey, because most of us actually have all the skills that we want and need to succeed with money. We just don't know how to integrate them from those other areas of our life to our money journey. So people are like, I don't have discipline. I'm not consistent. You consistently watch Netflix. You consistently show up to work on time. You're disciplined
Mhm.
enough to make sure that Hulu's getting paid every month.
Mm.
So we can't say that we don't have discipline and consistency. We have it in certain areas of our lives. We just
Right.
haven't yet figured out how to stretch that or integrate it into the area where we're hoping to grow a new skill.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love that. I mean, making it personalized, I think, is so important, right? So for me, like for years, I was all about just the debt payoff. But then I realized for me personally, I wasn't, I didn't feel satisfied knowing that I wasn't also investing. So I was like, okay, I have to make a plan that maybe I'm not investing as much as I want because I want to pay off all the debt that I had. But this little bit makes me happy, like makes me happy knowing that something is happening there. So I think that's awesome. So now I definitely want to talk about your book. First of all, congratulations on writing a book. That is a phenomenal accomplishment. So tell us all about your book and how you started it, how what it's all about. Please share.
Listen, this book has been on my mind for years, okay? So, the fact that it's done and it's out, like, in the world, like, strangers can just find it on Amazon if they wanted to, is, 1, blowing my mind, but, it's been a journey of really wanting to just encapsulate what I've learned up until this point for
Mhm.
someone else to be able to implement, read about, implement in their own life without me. And so it's crazy because I used to write down, because I told you I'm a little woo woo. So I used to write down years ago, like I'm an author. I didn't even know what the book was going to be about, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I just knew that
Mhm.
I was going to write a book on something. I didn't know what it was going to be on though. And
Right.
so as my journey evolved, it became clear what it was going to be on, because that's what people were asking me questions about. That's, how my life started to steer in a specific direction. So I actually didn't start really getting serious about it, even though I talked to an editor in 2020 about the book.
Mhm. Mhm.
It wasn't until late last year when I got pregnant that I was like, okay, it's time to really get serious about this.
Wow.
So my baby really forced me to get it out of me before he was born, so that I could be able to enjoy my time with him. And I was like, what if I just want to stop working one day? What if I don't want to
Mhm.
what I'm doing now, how can I still help people without necessarily having to actively be there every day, right? So,
Right.
and I had enough time, there was enough experience in what I was doing to now say something about it. Like, if I would just popped up and was like, okay, I'm going to start writing about this thing, but I didn't take the time for me personally to get the experience in the areas that I wanted to share on, I think it wouldn't have been as deep or as experiential, as impactful of a read. And so it's called the Financial Freedom Formula: 5 steps to decrease debt, increase income, and save money. And it's coming from, like I mentioned, a psychological perspective. My 5 step system is called the Mindful Money System. Like I said,
Mm,
we all know what we're kind of supposed to do. What is it that gets in the way of actually executing? And to me, my 5 steps laid out in a way that makes sense for me and is how I've made progress and how my students have made progress as well. So it is mindset, money, health, wealth, legacy. What money plans
mm,
have you seen that include health? If you aren't healthy, you're not going to be able to make an income. You're not going to be able to be energized, because in order to have passive income streams, it starts off as active.
right.
So you have to actively have the energy to go to work, to
Right.
perform at a high level so that you can keep getting raises, to
Mm,
have the mental clarity and be working on your own, traumas and hardships or whatever, so that you can do what the active piece to have the passive income. And so
mm,
mindset, money, health, wealth, legacy are those 5 steps in my mindful money system, really centered around building wealth without burning out as we kind of come out of like hustle culture and whatnot. I just really want to help women make their wealth building journey sustainable. I think a lot of
mhm,
running ourselves into the ground, hustling and grinding, guilting ourselves for resting, not allowing ourselves to take time to pour into ourselves, in are the other ways, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, relationally, because we're trying to run to the destination, like the end of the road or whatever. But that's actually us shooting ourselves in the foot. It's getting in our way of getting to where we want to be. And so I'm really excited. There's money moves in every chapter. There's stories from other women who've been making progress. Like, I'm really excited about it, also kind of nervous. And actually, I've only heard good things about it so far from everyone who's read it up until this point. So it's like,
good.
wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So where can people find your book?
Yes, it's on Amazon. That's crazy. I think it's really, I'm probably just very childish. I'm like, my book is on Amazon. Like, you can go and you can search it. Put
Oh,
put in the Financial Freedom Formula and my book will pop up. Okay. It's on Amazon if you want it delivered to you straight from Amazon. But if you want like a signed copy from me, you're probably like, why do I need your signature? But if you want a personally signed and sent copy from me, right? If you want a personally loved on one, then you can also visit my site to be able to get access to that, or just shoot me a DM and I'll send you the link and I'll probably ask you about how your life is going too.
awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, that is so fantastic that you have your own, system that is going to help women especially find their path to financial health and wealth. And I love the fact that you are pushing, not pushing, should say, but advocating for not being in that hustle culture, right? Because it's really hard. I feel like we're slowly coming out of it, but for the last like 10, 15 years or even longer here in the West, especially here in America, hustle culture has been glorified. It's been like rise and grind, right? It's been the motto for so long. So I think it's so like I personally am going through this like trying to move through the soft life movement and all of that. So I just love the words soft life. I'm living a soft life. It just sounds so fancy, but I just love the idea of really not burning yourself out while trying to build your, financial future and your legacy. So that's amazing.
Yes. Listen, I also think, and this could be just a theory that I have that anyone can agree with or disagree with, but like rise and grind and like even hustle culture feels very, first off, like American. And in America, it's very like rugged individualism. So there's that.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
also it feels very masculine. So
Absolutely.
the money space has been dominated by who? Typically
Yeah.
men, right? And so the narrative and the mindset, because we come back to mindset around how to be successful with money, has historically in America been written by men. But
Hmm.
if, as women, we want to build wealth too, we don't have to build wealth in the same way that men do. We
Right.
can attract instead of chase. We can live the soft life, okay, and still be able to live our best lives and get things done. And so I think that it's maybe also kind of reevaluating our mindset around, all of it together. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I do want to ask, I ask this of everyone before I let you go. So I usually ask, what is your favorite book that you would recommend? And of course, I'm going to assume it's your book.
Actually,
Okay.
contrary, because I read my book probably more than any other book. So I read my book every day because I'm a weirdo. But
Awesome.
there is a book, I literally have it right here. There is a book called Lies We Tell Ourselves: The
Mm,
Psychology of Self-Deception. So that has been my go-to number one recommendation across the board. Why? Because self-awareness is number one. And
mm,
understanding the lies you tell yourself, that book is like 50 pages. It's short, but it
mm.
is going to drag you, baby. Okay. You better take your time and be ready
It's
to
got to
get
tell you about
lies.
yourself.
Yes, you are going to get told about yourself and you might feel some type of way, but the goal is for you to be able to use that insight to help you go to the next level. And so, The Lies We Tell Ourselves: The Psychology of Self-Deception, also available on Amazon,
Mm.
right alongside my book, is my number one recommendation
Okay.
because you're constantly, all day, every day, using most of your time, energy, and effort to invest in lies. And
Mm,
the more
mm,
that you learn how to shift and invest your time, energy, and effort into the truth about yourself and what's possible for you, the easier it'll be to actually show up and execute so that you can have the passive income. And
mm.
so the tactics, as far as like you teach people how to do, is it Airbnb, right?
Airbnb courses, all that good stuff.
Hey,
Yes.
hey, okay. Teach people how to leverage all these passive income streams.
Right. Yes.
The tactics someone is not going to be able to follow through on if they don't have their mindset as their primary focus of constant development. There's two
Mm,
reasons why people don't hit their goals. Either they don't have a plan built with strategy and implementation in mind, or they're not executing the plan. If you don't have
mm,
the plan, read the 12-week year. If you have the plan but you're not executing it, which is a lot of people's issue, then it's lies we tell ourselves, the psychology of self-deception.
yes. It is so funny that you just said read the 12-week year because I just read it and I literally like now I'm living in my 12-week. I have a spreadsheet and like
Yes.
everything I'm like, this is what I'm doing today. So I love the 12-week year. I just like I was doing the Audible book and I'm like, I'm gonna get the physical book as well, just because so I can like take other notes. But I've got my plan. I'm sticking to it and I'm working, I'm executing the plan. So I love that.
There you go, right? And that's the only way to know like what could happen. Instead of needing assurance for the outcome, do an experiment. Like there's some
Mm,
people who believe in themselves and that's cute. Some people, a lot of people on the planet don't believe that they're able to do something they've never done before.
mm,
That's okay. Believing in yourself, confidence is not a prerequisite for progress.
mm.
You don't
Yeah.
have to believe in yourself. You just need to sign up for a 12-week year. You just need to do an experiment and say, if I change certain variables, what will happen?
Mm.
And
Yeah,
then
I love that.
it happens.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's really I love that you said you don't have to it's not a prerequisite to have the confidence and believe that it can happen. It's just like make the plan, change certain things, and just like you said, experiment, see what happens, right? Don't be like, oh, it has to be XYZ. Just see what happens when you make those changes. Yeah.
But the only reason why people don't do it is because of the lies they're telling themselves. That's why that's the number one recommendation.
Yes, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so, so much. If people want to learn more about you, they know where to find your book on Amazon, but where can they, find you on social media or your website? tell us all that good stuff.
Yes, you can find me at Jacent's Gems, JACENTS Jacent's Gems on pretty much everything. So Instagram is where I'm most active, even though now I'm kind of doing this whole TikTok situation, learning what that's about. Okay. Building a little community over there. But definitely Instagram is where I'm most active. And then I have my own podcast as well, where I, sit and talk about same things, wealth, wellness, and how to do it without killing ourselves in the process. So if you're listening to this, please send me a DM saying, hey, don't come to my internet house being a creep, lurking and learning and not saying nothing. Okay. So I treat my internet space like my home. If you come to my house,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do my best to greet you if I catch you that day. If I'm unable, then please send me a message so that we can connect and I can hear about where you're at and what you want to see happen in your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, please go ahead and follow Jacent Gems on all the platforms. And I will be sure to also share your information in the show notes and things like that. So thank you so, so very much. And I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.